Hello, viewers. Welcome back to the AI Chefs. Chef Kevin, good to see you today. How you doing?
Yeah, no, it's doing. I'm doing great, David. It's always great to be back in the kitchen with you. And of course, we're heading into this holiday season, and so I think we're going to start having some holiday-focused recipes, perhaps.
Yes, we don't have the set decorated. We're here. Oh, let me back up and show our. I always want to show off our full amazing AI set. I love it here, but we need to decorate it for the holidays. But I start eating for the holidays. I've already been eating for the holidays, so we're gonna have some holiday-based recipes.
Yeah, and we decorated. We got the Christmas decorations up early this year, like the last weekend in November, just because we figured that allow us to enjoy it. So I think the same thing with kind of holiday food. Let's start enjoying it early, and that way we can appreciate all kinds of different recipes.
Exactly. I'm ready to start eating. But before we start eating, I have to. We have our idiot sandwich award of the week. And so let me do our little clip. And again, the woman in this clip is in on the joke. We don't condone bullying here. We're all in on the joke.
What are you?
An idiot sandwich.
Idiot sandwich what?
An idiot sandwich, Chef Ramsay.
An idiot sandwich, Chef Ramsay.
I mean, that's just like that always makes me laugh because it's so
so
ridiculous,
silly.
but what a great clip.
So our idiot sandwich of the week is me. It's me.
Oh no!
Yes, because I didn't follow one of my own recipes. We have a recipe which is the overly helpful omelet, and it's
Right?
actually a tip to avoid eating. And oh boy, did I chow down on an overly helpful omelet because I didn't listen to my own tip.
Ah, you're overly trusting of AI.
I trusted AI, and it was exactly the kind of thing where we know not to trust AI when it comes to software and settings. And if there's something that we want software to do, and it thinks ChatGPT thinks I want the software to do, it'll say, yeah, just go into the settings and go down to the third option and turn it on. The thing you want, it's right there. It's not there, and I know this. We've seen we did a show about it. We shared
Yeah,
examples.
yeah.
So the way it came about, I'm gonna see if I could tell the story short. I used to do when I used to put these videos up on YouTube, like this video. After I uploaded it to YouTube, I would upload it to a service called Buzzsprout, and Buzzsprout would take out the audio and make an Apple podcast. So okay, I have an audio podcast then for whatever I
Right.
do. I stopped doing that 4 years ago because I started live streaming on YouTube, and I would have to. So there's no file. So I'd have to rip my own file. I have to download, and it still isn't that easy. There's ways, but it's not the easiest thing to do on YouTube. Rip my own file off of YouTube and then upload it. I'm like, yeah, I'm not doing that. So I just got out of the habit. And by the way, double decker idiot sandwich. I've been paying for Buzzsprout for 4 years. I haven't used it once.
Oh no!
Ah, killing me, killing me. So
Yeah,
anyway,
audit your subscriptions.
so I'm like, yeah, exactly. So I need to, so it's just not top of mind. But I was talking to, Nathan from Logitech. We're talking about content creation. He, Spotify now has a podcaster whole suite and everything. And for free, he
Right.
uploads it to Spotify and it goes on Spotify and it gets shared with Apple Podcast for free.
Perfect.
And Buzzsprout has some extra stuff like makes a page that I don't use, and so I'm trying to figure out which to use. So what do? Go to ChatGPT. Say, hey, I'm going to start redoing. Start tell the whole story. I'm redoing all my audio podcast. Da 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 da. What should I do? And I didn't specifically say, and I'll show in post production exactly what I asked it. I didn't say, I tried to be careful to avoid eating the overly helpful omelet. I tried not to let it know, but I did let it know that, I said, hey, does either of them support direct import from YouTube?
Right.
And something about the way it answered made me think it wasn't being an overly helpful omelet, because it didn't say, oh, yes, of course they both do. It said, yeah, Buzzsprout does, but Spotify doesn't.
Mm.
And there's something about that made me just go with it. And it doesn't. There's none of them do. There's none. So,
Okay.
but the problem is I spent a while just sitting there eating this omelet, because not only did it help me by saying it gave me the answer that I wanted. Yes, I could do the direct input from YouTube. And to answer my question between Buzzsprout and Spotify, now I'm going with Buzzsprout. So now I spent a half an hour saying, okay, so I'm going with Buzzsprout. Help me set up my Buzzsprout routine and my process for uploading. So I'm going to go this, I'm going to capture, I'm going to make a file to have my descriptions and put my thumbnails here. And I spent all this time working out my whole new wonderful routine with Buzzsprout. Went into Buzzsprout, couldn't find and I said, hey, you said go to this page and there's a place to put in a URL. I'm not seeing it. I'm like, and it was like, yeah, I'm sorry, it's not there. But it has me, and not to go on too long about this because we have to get to our actual recipes of the.
Yes.
But I did, and I'm going to share this as well. I said, okay, time out. I'm interested in how ChatGPT works. And then I use another one of our recipes, which is, I forgot the name of the recipe, but it's the one where we do the role playing. Oh, I should.
Not the Socratic one. Is that
no? It was more recent. I forgot the pun. I'll put it up here. I'll put it up above us. But I had a role play, and I said you are a spokesperson for the OpenAI company. Explain to me why this mistake happened.
Right. Okay. And
its explanation was really helpful, because there's something that I've been sort of. Yeah, I knew, but I didn't really think it through, which is, remember a couple of years ago now when they first said ChatGPT is now connected to the internet? I'm like, oh, this is the game changer. And before then, the model is it's trained on a data set that ends in the middle of 2023 or something like that.
Yeah.
So it's trained on that data set. If it's not in the data set, it hallucinates because it doesn't know what to do. And I always thought, but now it's connected to the internet. Forget about that data set. It's got the internet. No, that's not the way it works. You ask her a question, it uses the data set still. It goes to the internet if it's really, really obvious from the question that it has to go to the internet, or if you say to it, hey, and I've been doing this a lot, and this is going to probably be a future recipe. I say, hey, that's a pretty good answer, but can you check the internet for more recent stuff? And they'll say, sure, now I'll check the internet, and then it gives you a good answer. So my thought that we had evolved from training on data set to using the internet was incorrect. We haven't evolved. It's a bolt-on for all. And this isn't a ChatGPT, Copilot. This Perplex. This is all of them. This is how they work.
No. And this is a good point. And this is a tough thing, which is it's like AI orchestration. When you have different data sources, different agents, different knowledge bases, how does the AI orchestration engine decide what is the most credible data source to go to? Right. And so, as you say, if it's easy, like what's the weather in Toronto where I am, that's pretty, simple to figure out. Yeah, you got to go out to the internet. Don't consult your data set from 2022 or 2023. But it is increasingly difficult. And these are some of the big challenges that outside of the LLMs, there's a lot of complexity that these companies and I think when, and maybe we'll segue to my recipe, because I think one of the things is that I wanted to talk about, it is kind of the holiday spirit. So my recipe is Christmas pudding. I'm going to say I kind of feel bad because, last time I did bologna cake, and I'm not a fan of Christmas pudding. So I feel like here's two recipes that are not my favorites for sure. I mean, I don't know, to each their own. But I wanted to do my tip is going to be kind of holiday thematic. It's going to be fun. There's two fun things, and then I think one serious thing. But anyway, Christmas pudding, that is this kind of sweet, dried fruit pudding that, originated in Britain, and maybe like colonialism, they exported it to other parts of the world, which may or may not been a good thing. And it's made with like dried fruit, suet, breadcrumbs, flour, egg, spice. I mean, quite frankly, those ingredients together, that sounds not particularly great. David, I don't know about you, but I was not sure what suet was. Do you know what suet is?
I'm afraid to ask. I think I used to know, but now I don't.
Didn't know. Yeah, you should be afraid because, think about these. It's the raw, hard fat that comes from beef or lamb or mutton, specifically like around the the loins or the kidneys.
I was thinking
So
something
you throw this
fatty
into some
based.
dried fruit. It's like it congeals. It's that yucky stuff that congeals. Anyway, so this is Christmas pudding. This is to get you in the holiday spirit. It's also called plum pudding, but the interesting thing, it never has plums in it because this recipe comes from 1845. It's the first time that Christmas pudding was written down by a lady called Eliza Acton in Britain. But plums in 1845, I guess the word plums actually meant raisins. So plum pudding has no plums in it, which I learned because this is what happens. You go in to do some research and then you're in this giant black hole. But
I was trying to figure out why could it possibly be called plum pudding if there's no plums in it? That was
because
for raisins.
Raisins were called plums.
Language is weird.
Well, words changed. Yeah, there you go. But I would say the most famous sort of Christmas pudding comes from that song "We Wish You a Merry Christmas," which I didn't really understand that, right? So it's like, now bring us some figgy pudding.
The figgy pudding.
Bring us some figgy pudding, right? Bring us some figgy pudding and bring it right here. And then they go on to say they won't go till they get some. So here's something. No, but figgy pudding is not Christmas pudding or plum pudding. It's like a precursor to that, and it was less complicated. Maybe, I don't know, maybe it didn't have suet in it. So anyway, Christmas season, Christmas pudding, whatever your traditions are. One of our traditions when growing up, and even now I have 3 kids in their 20s, it would be on on Christmas Eve, we would read the famous poem, "'Twas the Night Before Christmas." So I thought, hey, how can we use AI to have some fun with this? Well, so I took your bio off LinkedIn, David. So you can do this with any bio. And I said, my prompt was, using this bio as background, please create a thematic poem based on, the classic "'Twas the Night Before Christmas." And so I'm going to do a short reading of the David Maldo version of "'Twas the Night Before Christmas," if you'll indulge me. "'Twas the night before Christmas, and all through the cloud, no webinar was running, not even a crowd. The headsets were hung by the monitor with care and hopes that St. Nicholas soon would be there. The children were nestled all snug in their beds, while visions of unboxing danced in their head. And Mama on her tablet and I on my phone had just settled down to watch videos alone. When out on the network there arose such a clatter, I sprang from my chair to see what was the matter. Away to the router I flew like a flash, checked the bandwidth, and threw up the sash. The glow of the screen in the dark of the night illuminated David Maldo, a wonderful sight. He came bearing tidings of video cheer with insights and knowledge to banish all fear. Now codecs, now cameras, now capture and share, on wireless, on wired, on content so rare. To the top of the blog, to the top of the feed, now share away, share away, share away with speed. He spoke of new platforms, of features so grand, of collaboration bridging the land. He showed how the world could connect face to face and bring people together with nary a trace. Then, with a twinkle and a nod of his head, he vanished, his message completely spread. But I heard him exclaim as he faded from view, "Happy holidays to all, and to video conferencing too." And happy holidays. So there you go. That's a little fun with AI. We focused on some very kind of more business focused things, but so that I did a really good job of taking this classic and combining with your bio with the video conferencing and all the let's do video stuff that you're focused on. So a couple of things, and the first time it goes through, and this is where to your point, you got to kind of make sure that it's given you what you want. The first time it had too much of the original text and not enough kind of incorporation of
to work with it.
And so I said, hey, I wanted it to be more, don't include because whole stanzas were from the original, right? So there you go. Now the second thing I tried, and it won't be as long, I thought, hey, what's more authentic than getting AI to write your Christmas greeting. Well, obviously that's inauthentic. Don't do this, but it was an interesting thing. I took your bio and I said, using this background, could you create the perfect Christmas greeting card for David? Now, I did it with Copilot, Gemini, Inflection.ai, which is called Pi, is their AI assistant, and ChatGPT. And so all of them got it wrong, and they thought that it was a Christmas card that you were sending versus a Christmas card to you. But the thing that I want, and then I said no, it was supposed
Clarify
to be a card
that.
to David, and and everybody, they all apologized profusely, and because they want to make you happy, as you pointed out. But here's the thing that I want. There's 2 points that are important. Each of the large language models, the AI assistants, they're good at different things, and so in this particular case, Gemini did the best job. It gave different options. So it had like option 1, simple and warm, option 2, industry specific, option 3, playful and personalized. And then it gave things like at the bottom, extra tips to make it extra special. It said, mention a specific article or piece of content that you created, because I'm sending the card to you, David, that you enjoyed. If you met him in person, reference your meeting. If you're sending a physical card, consider handwriting a brief personal note. So it really went above and beyond to try to help with that. And it did a really, really good job in terms of creating that. The other ones were more, I would say, academic. But here's the other important point that I think I came across, which wasn't what I intended, but it was a good learning. When I was using Pi, so Inflection.ai was created by Mustafa Suleiman. It was founded in 2022, and his mission was, he came from kind of the Google, team, Google AI team, and now he created Inflection.ai. The mission was to create the most empathic and personalized AI model, and then they created this chatbot called Pi.ai. Now, Microsoft has recently hired Mustafa and a bunch of his team. But, one of the interesting things with Pi.ai is they support the data transfer initiative. What that means is when you use this AI, and I think this is super important to you, David, because, you talk about the history that you build up in your chat history. So this data transfer initiative is, Pi.ai, you can export all of your chat history. Because, one of the articles about this says, and if you think about this, in the future, users may have decades worth of interactions with particular AI assistants that they may want to export and move, right? So maybe you find out that, the different models do different things. Maybe you've been talking to a particular AI system for a couple of years. Wouldn't you want to take that history with you? And so this data transfer initiative, it's not only related to AI, it's things like Facebook and Google from different things, but it allows you to export the data in a really usable fashion. And then it got me thinking, and so I did some research, but I'll have to follow up on this. Even though pretty much all of the AI assistants allow you to export the data, they don't all retain it by default for a long period of time. So you better check, like it could be you can export it, but if you've been talking for a year, it may only retain the last 90 days.
Oh, it forgets.
Right, because it doesn't have infinite storage. So I think if you're investing time, and certainly David,
I need an infinite bot.
You invest that, you should make sure, what is that? Is it 90 days, 180 days? Is it infinite?
I'm worse than that. I'm still using free chat GPT, so I'm limited to like 15 items. So my memory's full of like 15. Aside from them getting forgotten, it doesn't know anything new about me anymore.
Okay. Yeah.
So I really have some problems.
That's certainly the idea of, if you had a coworker, and a lot of times you talk about how you treat it like a coworker, you form those those bonds, and also the ability to be more collaborative by knowing more about the background.
Right now I'm in a situation the situation is, imagine if I had a coworker that's been helping me with my YouTube, writing my descriptions for me, helping me plan for this this
Right.
show that I do with you, helping me with the hats. And I said to this coworker, "Oh, by the way, I'm going to start doing, like we talked about, I'm going to start doing my audio podcasts again, so I'm going to need to
Yeah.
talk to you." And it said, "I'm sorry, I can't remember that.
Yeah.
I am
What
not
are
I
you
am not
talking
going
about?
to remember that you're doing audio podcasts now. I know
Right.
about your YouTube channel. I know about Kevin. I know about Air Chefs. I am not going to remember that you're doing audio." I'm like, what are you talking about? I can't work with you like that. And that's the situation I'm in because of these limitations.
Yeah, yeah. So absolutely was something that, and I want to look at it because in a corporate setting, there may be other things that limit you. And, it's like this is good value information. So maybe you're going to have to put a reminder on your calendar to export some of your prompt history every period. But anyway, so great Christmas poem. And as we
Yeah.
move into the holiday season, it did a great job with that. Different AIs do different things better or worse. And think about, can you export your data and how long is it retained for? That's all part of this recipe that I don't really enjoy, but we're going to call it the Christmas pudding recipe. If you enjoy it, that's excellent. It's just not my favorite. So
No, I
over
thought
to
that
you.
I thought that was great. I kind of almost want to end with that because it was kind of wholesome, but I have a recipe, so I'm going to go with it. One thing
Okay.
I have a thought for you. At some point, because one thing as I'm, even preparing for this show, I'm learning more. I'm messing with Gemini, I'm messing with Copilot,
Yeah.
messing with Zoom Companion 2.0, Perplexity. What you said is becoming more and more obvious. Different, they're good at different things. If they're not all the same at all. Some of them are terrible at some things and
Right.
great at other things. At some point, you and I might have to take off our chef's hat and put on our analyst hats and do some research on that because there's not a lot of stuff out there. And I would like a report that says what Gemini is better at that and what's Copilot's better at that because yeah, they're really different. It's not what I expected at this point.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so my recipe, and I think it's very similar to the Christmas
Oh,
pudding. It's the traditional fruitcake. I'm calling it the feasibility fruitcake. I'm getting to the AI part of it. And,
okay.
and fruitcake, unfortunately, and I did some research, it has a really bad reputation, particularly in the United States. And I think it's for a couple reasons. One reason is it's made all over the world and it's really enjoyed all over the world. Like differences between country to country. It's made differently in Canada than it is in Finland or whatever.
Right, right.
But it's not hated that much anywhere the way it is in the United States. I think part of it in the United States it's generally made without alcohol. Part of the problem. And back when I was a kid, there was this guy called Johnny Carson, who was this brilliant comedian, and he had
Yes.
this recurring bit. He just anytime he would bring it up, he'd make this joke about it that it was so terrible and it was solid. It's sort of like a rock, and no one actually eats it. You just gift it every year, and the same fruitcake has been in the family for 100 generations, being gifted from Christmas to Christmas.
Okay,
But
so I'm interested in how to make good fruitcake because I love fruit, and I think alcohol is good, but I think that they're better separate.
well,
So
you think about it, it's a nice, if you like cake, a nice, yummy, spongy, sweet cake drenched in a sweet liquor instead of icing. And for the fruit, people say, "Oh, it has pineapple. I don't like pineapple." Make it with your favorite fruit. So whatever your favorite fruit is, little bits of it, and you could sweeten and candy the fruits even to make it even more. But it's a sweet, delicious cake soaked in liquor. What is there to complain about, right?
do you make fruitcake? Do you partake in? Is that a Christmas tradition for
No,
you?
I have not because it's a joke in this country.
Okay.
But when I was looking at it online, I'm like, I would eat this. This looks pretty good. And
Well,
I felt a little personal affinity for something that looks a little different, a little nutty, a little out there, and maybe there is something good in there.
it could be. There you go.
But
So,
my
but how is this the
the
feasibility? Yes.
the AI tip is the feasibility of fruitcake, and when what it is basically is very simple. Just asking ChatGPT or your chat of choice about the feasibility of an idea, whether it's a fruitcake recipe or anything else. And one thing that I use it for recently, to give me some really good feedback was, and I'm looking at the ChatGPT to say what it said that worked for me. I recently did for Aver the Aver monthly newsletter, a video newsletter. So a new idea came up with, and I don't know if it's a good idea because I've never seen anything like this. And I'll show a little boo clip of it in post. But the idea is I used used AI to make a newsletter graphic.
Yeah.
And instead of doing a print newsletter, me and the Aver rep we chat about it, and you can watch it.
Yeah, I liked it. I saw it. I thought it was quite creative. It kind of
Thank you.
reminded me of like the Harry Potter newspaper a little bit, where the pictures move, right? So anyway.
Yes. Yes, that is what it looks like. And I didn't make the connection, but I'm like, there's something that's ticking like the little kid in me that's making me like this. And my wife walked in and looked at my show and she goes, "Oh, you're making a Harry Potter thing." I'm like, "Oh, that is it."
Yeah, it looked nice. I liked it.
But ChatGPT knew what I was doing because I always say I make my own content, but if it's something I'd have an intern do, like write the YouTube description, it's not cheating to have ChatGPT.
Yeah.
So ChatGPT had already written the YouTube description for me, and I had this idea, so I thought I would use this for my idea of the feasibility fruitcake. And I said, I'm looking at what I wrote. I would like a validation check. Please give me reasons why this might work and reasons why it might not work. And that's what was good about it. I didn't just say, "Is this a good idea?" Because it's going to say, "Of course it's a great idea." It not only is a good
Best
idea,
idea
but
ever.
best idea ever. And you look handsome today. I mean, you know how this thing wants us to be happy and love us. But it gave me, by not just saying yes, but asking for reasons, it did validate me. And part of it was to make me feel good, but uniqueness in a crowded market. This is a unique idea. It will stand out. Perceived value. It looks like a premium kind of thing because you don't see a lot of them. There's some production in it.
Yeah, yeah.
Scalable. It's on YouTube. You could share it on social media. Like, oh, storytelling format appeals to the audience. I'm like, oh, all this stuff is believable. I don't want to just hear this good. I want to give me believable reasons, even if it's hallucinating or whatever. Oh, and the fact that, and it said your established expertise. Boy, is it giving me the ego boost. The fact that it's not just anyone producing it, but it's someone in the industry you could talk about. And then reasons might not work are things I have to keep in mind. Production costs could be a barrier.
Right.
ChatGPT doesn't know I'm good at OBS, so luckily it's not that much of a barrier.
Okay, yeah, exactly.
But here's a good one. Need for ROI metrics. Clients like numbers. Can I prove how many cameras this thing sold? What can I do here? Okay, I can get some YouTube share stats, but it gave me something to think about. That is a reason I might have a problem convincing other companies to go for this newsletter idea. Risk of low engagement. What if no one watches it and it makes it look bad, right? I'm like, ooh, I didn't think about that. That is a problem. Validation check. I'm eating this feasibility fruitcake here. And then what I love, and this, I don't know if this is a recipe or something we need to talk about sometime. Sometimes these AI, they give us more than we ask for. I think they're programmed to ask themselves, how else can I help this person? Because it gave me what I asked for, and then it said, final thoughts. To address some obstacles, please consider the following, and gave me some tips that I didn't even ask for.
But I think, but that was my point. Like what Gemini did that with the greeting card, right? Like when it thought it was, and there was other tips like put it on a good quality stock and include a visual, and and so I think that's when it goes above and beyond. But I don't think all the models in all the context are programmed to do that, right? So I think, yeah, you're also highlighting how some of the times you get more than you ask for, which is really useful.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting it. I didn't ask for it, and it turned out to be the most useful part of what happened. But again, this recipe is just another, I want to say fun thing, but it's more than a fun thing. It's useful. There are so many, especially if you're a small business person like myself, you come up with ideas all the time, and you just want to do a reality check, and yeah, you can get AI to say, yes, this is a good idea, but no. List the reasons pro, list the reasons con. And that gives you something to work with so you can give yourself a real answer.
Yeah, I think that's a great point, right? Because you as you emphasized, like it gives you what it thinks you want to hear. And so yeah, asking pros and cons, or even, with the bologna cake recipe from last time, asking it to be more more of a critical, right? Like a critique, but a more of a harsh critique, because then you can kind of plan for the downside, right? But I think pros and cons a lot of times, as opposed to saying, is this a good idea? It has a tendency to want to say yes, and you're great and you're handsome, as you say. Whereas if you ask for pros and cons, at least it's going to give you kind of that more balanced, right?
Yeah.
So
It was actually something you shared with me, or we were working on off stream together, that led me to this, because it made me realize that not only does it just want to give me a good answer, it can give me as good or as bad answer as I wanted to. You ask it to review something of yours, and you said, give me a positive review, more positive, more positive, more positive, till it was the best thing you ever wrote. Then you said negative, and it was more negative, more negative, more negative, till it was the worst thing anyone had ever written.
yes.
And it was the same article. So it's capable of saying this very same article is the worst article ever, the best article ever. So I can't, as much as I love this stuff, I can't trust it. But if I say, give me pros and cons and I'll decide how good it is, that's a little more, I want to start getting grounded in reality. I'm getting a little scared by all the overly helpful omelets I've been eating lately.
No, and that's good, because in real time, because with your thing, I was asking, and I was in Copilot, I said, do you like fruitcake? And of course, it gave me more of a positive. And then I said, do more people like or dislike Christmas fruitcake? And then that was kind of like a pros and cons. It gave me, many people have strong dislike because of this, and then many people, but absolutely, to your point, it is happy to tell you whatever you want to hear. So
did it mention Johnny Carson?
It's funny. It said, here's the interesting thing. I haven't clicked on the reference. You know how Copilot shows you the reference? It says, this dislike has been popularized by jokes and cultural references over the years. So
I bet it's Johnny Carson.
Yeah, it may very well be, but it's going to an article. Oh, it does. During the episode of The Tonight Show, the late comedian famously quipped, there is only one fruitcake in the entire world, and people keep sending it to each other. Perfect, see?
I love Johnny, but he killed fruitcakes for an entire country.
Yes, there you go. And even though I'm in Canada, it must have spilled over, because I am scared of them when I see them. I feel like if I get them, that is a perfect gift for regifting. So I think I'm in. I'm into that trend of just passing it along.
Oh my God! You just validated the joke. You validated the stereotype.
I know. There you go. That is my feeling. I don't know. Right. So, well, this was So this is good. It gets us prepped for the holiday spirit. Holiday season, and I guess the next episode, you said you're going to create the AI Christmas kitchen, and so I guess people can look forward to that.
Yep. And sorry, viewers, I know this is kind of a long episode, but I was having fun, so I wasn't going to stop it. And I'll put the chapters below to make it easier to navigate.
Sounds great. Thank you, as always, David.
Be sure to like and subscribe. Take care, everyone.